Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And new signing announced today. We've been expecting it for like a week now. Arsenal always take time with their new signings and announcing it. Yesterday said an Arsenal signing can actually play for us before it gets announced because they usually milk it every single time. But Martin Odegaard is now an Arsenal player. Excited about it. So we're going to spend around 20 to 30 minutes talking about the new signing. And WSL is back with me again. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
And Thomas from Arsenal Fan Reviews, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me on the channel.
No problem, man. So, good signing for us, not a good signing. A lot of speculation, a lot of different opinions on him. But yeah, I'll start with you, Thomas. What have you made of the signing? Happy with it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we first saw those rumours coming out saying he was going to leave Real Madrid, I was like, I mean, this would be good if we could try and get him on loan, but I wasn't expecting us to actually get the deal done. And somehow we have. So, yeah, for sure, I'm really happy with him. We can finally start to rotate the squad, but not have to put out a bad lineup. And we can also play him in Premier League games as well when we're not doing too well, or start him from the beginning. So, a great player overall.
WSL?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Thomas said. I think when he initially said he wanted to leave, whether it be on loan or on a permanent, I think Arsenal were instantly on that. I mean, I know Arteta's a big fan of him. Apparently, obviously, Arteta had a major part in this signing with a call or something like that. So I think it's a good signing. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Arteta, but if he wants a guy in, like if he wants to bring a player in the club, we've got to try and back him as much as we can. And the club's obviously gone and done that with getting Odegaard in. So hopefully it's positive.
Now, Thomas, let's be honest. Let me put you on the spot because at the beginning of January, we were expecting a few players to leave and a few players to come on. How many players did you want us to sign in January?
I wanted a midfielder at least on loan, and we've kind of ticked that box now. I was expecting about 3 players, maybe on permanent moves. And I mean, we've got Odegaard, we've got Rekic, but he's kind of for the under-23s. But now to make it a kind of successful window, I think what we need to do is just get a backup left back, and I'll be quite happy. But I was expecting about 3 signings.
And how many did you want to leave the club?
I wanted a similar amount, about 3 or 4. I mean, I know lots of players' contracts are up in the summer, like Socrates and Mustafi. So I'm glad we're starting to terminate those contracts and get rid of them, so we just don't have them on the wage bill because we're not playing them at all, or we weren't playing them. So yeah, I wanted to get rid of 3 or 4. We've done that. So in terms of getting out Deadwood, I'm really happy with that.
Which 3 players would you have gotten rid of? Can you name for me?
That would have been Socrates, Mustafi, and Ozil, and we've done 2 of them, so hopefully we can get Mustafi done soon.
Awesome. WSL, how about you? How many players did you want us to sign coming into January after that very, very bad run of form?
I think with Arsenal, wants and expectations are a massive difference. I want a lot of things from Arsenal, but I expect a lot less. I think this January transfer window has kind of proven that once again. A lot of people came into it expecting us to spend big money. You know, we were looking at players like, oh, we're going to get a War in January, Buendia, you know, loads of different players. And I think we were never going to get these players, at least in January. You know, Basuma, I think we are linked with him. I think he's a summer move. And I'm hoping that we can get like an Awar or a Grealish in the summer as well. But in January, I agree, at least 3 players. For me, it was a second goalkeeper because Runarsson just is not good enough. I wanted a backup left back, which we're still needing to get. And then I agree, I wanted at the time, I wanted an attacking midfielder. But since Smith Rowe's like resurgence, I kind of wanted a person who can play all around the park. So whether it be midfield, attacking midfield, or the wings, and Odegaard fits that bill. So I'm happy with his signing.
And which players did you want to get rid of?
For me, the club needs to get rid of at least 7 to 8 players before we can really start pushing forward. In January, I think at least 4 or 5 of them had to go, and we've got rid of a few of them. The players for me that had to go in January were Socrates, Mustafi, Ozil, Xhaka, and El Neni. I'm not a big fan of Xhaka. I'm not a big fan of El Neni either. But I can accept that they aren't going to leave just yet because we can't bring anybody in just yet. But when we get like a Basuma, I think we need to look at getting rid of those two players. The Mustafi deal, apparently we're close to terminating his contract. For me, that's the best thing we can do. Just get rid of the guy, get rid of Ozil, get rid of Socrates, and it's exactly what we've done. So outgoings are much better than ingoings, but they're not good enough just yet, I don't think.
Okay, Thomas, it's yet another loan signing. We know we've not really enjoyed loan signings. What do you make of loan signings? Do you prefer a player to come on loan, or do you prefer a permanent signing?
Well, if we're going to get someone like Partey or a backup keeper or backup left back, of course, it would rather be on a permanent move. But for someone like Odegaard, I think a loan is probably the best if we'd have an option to buy at the end of the summer, because we do need that attacking midfielder. We do need a midfielder. But if it didn't go well, then, of course, we can just return him. So I'm quite annoyed that it doesn't have an option to buy. But other than that, yeah, I think this is kind of the perfect loan move.
How about you, WSL? Do you usually prefer loan signings or permanent? Because if he comes and he becomes such a vital player in the team, then what do you do after that?
I think there's two ways of looking at it with Odegaard. I think he's a different kind of person. He was seen at such a young age as a really bright talent. Obviously, at 15 years old, he was already debuting for Norway. And I think he is a young prospect still. He's only 22 years old. People are forgetting that. So he's still at a peak age to be able to become one of the best in the world. Yes, some of that potential may have dropped, but it doesn't mean he can't refine that potential and properly show the world what he's made of. I think for me, the best option for us to sign him was as a loan with no option or obligation to buy. The reason for this, if Real Madrid are willing to loan him out and then either we have to obligate to buy him or we can have an option to buy, that's not promising. He's not a promising youngster. Real Madrid, them only loaning him out with no option or obligation to buy shows to me that they see something in him. They see something in him that Zidane doesn't, which for me shows that if Zidane does eventually leave Madrid, they may bring Odegaard back into the mix with the new manager. And I think that's promising for him as a player. If Real Madrid aren't willing to get rid of you just yet, you're showing something special. Yes, if he does perform really well, it will be sad that we can't get him. But I think Arsenal are looking at it in only one way, and that's Odegaard is not going to replace anybody. He's not going to be the number one target ever. He never was. It's that Odegaard is simply coming in to fill a role, that competition for Smith Rowe, and that whether he does good, whether he does bad, he goes back to Madrid and we have a bigger player lined up already to replace Odegaard, whether it be an Aouar, a Grealish, or someone of that level. I think we are just getting ready to sign a player of that caliber. So the Odegaard deal is just we fill somebody for now and then bring somebody better in later.
Thomas, are you enjoying this relationship we have with Real Madrid?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone quite well so far. Of course, one of our most recent signings with them, Dani Ceballos, that's been an okay move. I mean, I wasn't the biggest supporter when we found out that we were going to be extending his loan deal for another year, but it's been quite good so far, and especially with Real Madrid, that's a good link to have.
Yeah, okay, let me put you on the spot again. If you were the Arsenal manager right now and you had a choice to pick one player from Real Madrid right now, which one would you go and pick?
That's a hard one. That was...
Yeah, anyone you want from Real Madrid.
Anyone? Would it be on loan or permanent or anything?
Loan, even for 2 months, 3 months, whichever they decide. Which one would you go and pick to help us through this season?
If it could be anyone, potentially Modric. I'm not sure.
It's a hard one, right? WSL, which one did you go for at Real Madrid?
For me, it's an obvious one. Sergio Ramos. He is a leader. He's a born leader. We need somebody right now. Yes, we have Kieran Tierney and that kind of caliber of leader, but I think Tierney is still growing as a leader in terms of leading a massive club like Arsenal. Yes, he captained Celtic for many years, but let's be honest, Celtic were dominant in the league that he was playing in. So I think leading a team like that isn't that much of a difficult task. So I think Tierney needs to learn under a big boy leader, and Sergio Ramos fits that bill. Also, we're struggling with centre-backs. Yes, our defensive record is pretty good, but Gabriel's not playing that well recently. Luiz is looking awful. Mari's out injured. We don't know when he's going to be back. Holding is on and off. So I think Ramos coming into the team would just he'd just fix them all straight up. And as I said, he also has it out for Mohamed Salah. So when we play against Liverpool, Salah's going to be invisible because Ramos is going to bully him. But yeah, if I could sign anybody, it would definitely be Sergio Ramos.
How can you mention centre-backs and not mention Mustafi? Have some respect for Mustafi. Thomas...
Yeah, forgot him.
You forgot about him. So, Thomas, I don't know if he's eligible to play in the Europa League, but if he is, in which competition would you use him most, in the Premier League or Europa League?
Odegaard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably use him mostly in the Europa League because Emile Smith-Rowe's look brilliant in the Premier League at the moment. And of course, we do need to rotate the squad when we're going into other competitions. But if Emile Smith-Rowe does drop off some form, or we have anyone in the midfield really drop off from form, for sure I'd put him straight in.
How about you, WSL? Europa League or the other competition? Which one would you prefer?
I mean, I don't think we're going to win the Europa League personally. I think right now there's at least 3 or 4 teams that are just much better than us. I think Milan, AC Milan, they're looking really good. I hate to say it, but Tottenham, they're doing better than us. Man United, they're doing better than us. And there's another good few teams in there that could really do some damage. And obviously we got a poor draw. Benfica straight away. Like Tottenham go and get some team from Austria who I've never really heard of. We go and get Benfica. It's like the look of the draw. But the thing with Benfica is they apparently have a curse where they just can't win any European competition for the next 100 years. And that's been going on for ages. So hopefully we can end their Europa League season early. And I think we will beat Benfica simply because a lot of people are gassing them up. They're third in their league. They're not as good as they used to be. They're not the prime Benfica, like the Eusebio days. They're not that team anymore. I think Porto are much better. So Benfica are beatable, but I don't see us winning it. So for me, Odegaard is... He's a bit of both. He has to come in both competitions. He has to rotate with Smith-Rowe. If Smith-Rowe's playing really well, Odegaard gets dropped. If Odegaard's playing well and Smith-Rowe needs a rest, you swap them around. But yeah, I think Odegaard is going to be more important than we think. But at the end of the day, we need to see how he performs in the Premier League because going from Real Sociedad to Arsenal, it's a massive leap. So we need to see what he can do.
The next question is also for you because he came from the same team as a certain Vivian, a baller in the women's league. They once played for the same team. So can he match up to Vivian? I'm sure Arsenal fan reviews knows a bit about Vivian too. So do you think he can match up to her?
Vivian is next level, man. She is the Messi and Ronaldo of the women's league right now. Seriously, she's a baller. If Odegaard can be anything remotely similar to Vivian, we've got a player on our hands. A lot of people ask me, what women's player would you bring in? Obviously, at the time, I have to go for players in certain positions. But if I'm picking one player, like just one player, is Vivian. The goals she scores, she's just amazing. And like I said, if Odegaard can be at least half of what Vivian is when it comes to being in front of goal and scoring goals, he's going to get a good few this season.
How about you, Arsenal fan review?
Yeah, I really hope he lives up to that kind of level because she's absolutely amazing. I've seen her not just on telly but in real life a couple of times as well. And the way she, gets around so many different players, the way she can dribble the ball and, of course, score goals, it's incredible. So if we can get him to that standard, that would be amazing.
Did she ask you for an autograph the day she met you? Did she know she was meeting a celebrity? WSL, so this guy once played for Liverpool, by the way. He trained, as you can see on that photo right now, Steven Gerrard behind him, that season where Liverpool was so close to winning the title. He has a connection with them. Apparently, he's a Liverpool fan. How do you make of that?
Well, there was a time when just before he signed for Real Madrid, when he first came on the scene at about 16 years old, every single team in Europe was after him. We were United, Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, all of us. And there was a time when Arsene Wenger personally invited him to the training ground and he came with his parents, his agent, etc. He toured it and he apparently said he liked it, but it was the Galactico pull, being told you're going to be a Galactico is a different pull. No one can rival that really right now. So I think we were slightly unlucky to not get him back then. But at the end of the day, players are going to support teams. I'm sure we've got some players in our team that support Man United and that kind of thing, But as long as they play for the badge, as long as their connection to a team via them being a fan doesn't get in the way of their performances, I don't really care who they support, as long as it isn't Tottenham.
You have players that support Manchester United. Get them out of this club, please. Manchester United. That's the team I hate most in history, man. So, Thomas, I'll start with you. So, where do you think he can fit most? Let me put it on screen right now. That's the predicted lineup, or my preferred lineup I would go for with Odegaard in the team. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean,
do you
that
think
looks
it's too
quite
open?
good.
Is it too attacking?
That back four, that does look quite. I mean, it's probably our best back four at the moment, to be honest. And the midfield as well. I'd try and go for that if we could. I mean, I've liked Xhaka's performances the past couple of games, but Odegaard, he's probably going to be better when he moves into the Premier League as well. I mean, I'd 100% go for that team. That looks really good.
Any changes you'd make at all? Would you push him a bit forward? Do you think it's too attacking? Obviously, you can't play this formation when you're playing Man City or Liverpool away. But in the games against Burnley and Newcastle where we struggle to score goals, is it a good formation?
Yeah, in those games for sure. I mean, like you said, against those big teams in the league, we can maybe bring in someone more defensive, or change to a more defensive formation. But against those smaller teams, and we could just try and score goals, that looks really good.
Yeah, I think if you're going to line up with Odegaard and Smith Rowe in the same team, that's exactly how you use it. I think, as I said, I really don't like Xhaka and Elneny. So if they can get out the team and we can replace them with anybody, I'll do that. And right now, that formation looks really strong. I mean, I agree. Against United, I don't want to see that because that's way too open. The one thing that, when it comes to playing against United, I don't want Arteta to go toe-to-toe. He needs to play the way he's played every single time we've beaten United these last few years, really. Play defensively, counter-attack, beat them, get a penalty, whatever else. But so I don't see Odegaard really starting in that game. And I think he will struggle to get a few starts, actually, because I think Smith Rowe's form is going to be on such high levels. And I also think that a lot of people are praising Xhaka has been quite good recently. And I think him and Partey look much better together than an Elneny and a Partey or an Elneny and a Xhaka. Yeah. So until Xhaka has a dip in form, which I already know he's going to have, Odegaard will be a few maybe bench performances. It will be, Smith Rowe's tired, so you're coming in, that kind of thing. So he just needs to persevere, really. At the end of the day, we've brought him in to benefit us, but to benefit him. We're building his career, so he's just got to take it on the chin. He's just got to take the performances that he gets and prove that, we need to start him every game if that's what he wants.
Yeah, Thomas, that was going to be my next question. Would you start him against United?
No, I personally wouldn't. I don't want to rush him into the team. And I mean, Man United, they're in brilliant form at the moment. So a bench start for me, yeah, that would be fine. But no, I think we need to continue with that Xhaka, Partey, Smith Rowe midfield we're going for the past couple of games, if all three of them are available. And yeah, maybe if we're doing all right, if we're winning in the final 20 minutes, 10 minutes, bring him on. But I wouldn't start him.
How about when would you start him then? Which game would you give him as his debut then?
I know we've got Wolves coming up, and that'll be quite hard, but they've not been in the greatest form either recently, so maybe that game.
Which game would you give him first, WSL?
Yeah, I think Wolves probably is the best start. I think Man United's too big. I think as well, a lot of the rival fans are going to be getting on Odegaard's back as soon as the gates open. Let's be honest, we're the banter club this season. We have been, us and Chelsea. And I think he and any of our new signings, whether it be Ryan or him, Ryan's already been getting slander from rival fans. He hasn't even played in the team yet. So Odegaard, if he does something wrong against United, if he makes a mistake or if he doesn't put in a 10 out of 10 performance, he's just going to get rinsed. And I think putting that kind of pressure on him straight away is going to be too much. He doesn't need to come into a team to put in a decent performance, but then to get rinsed by the media and by fans as a whole. United Arsenal is such a rivalry game. Fans are going to forget that he's a new signing. They're going to forget that it's going to take time to gel. They want the best of the best from the players, and he can't be involved in that. I think maybe come on halfway, maybe like 60, 70 minutes in, bring him on for a bit. If we're, maybe it's like 1-1 and we need a goal, maybe bring him on. But yeah, I agree. However much I don't like Xhaka, I would start him again. He's been really good recently. So Xhaka, Partey, Smith Rowe would be the three for me. But yeah, he can't start for me at all.
And what's his favorite position, Thomas? Which position would you give it to him? Right, because he's left-footed.
Yeah, I'd go on the right. Like you showed the lineup earlier on, I'd go with that on the right.
And then WSL, favorite position? You've seen
he's going straight down the middle. If we are going to play the two defensive midfielders, he's going to go down the middle, like Smith Rowe. If we're going to play one defensive midfielder with two more like attacking midfielders, so I'm guessing him and Smith Rowe, I'm putting him on the left side. He's right-footed. The guy can shoot. Watch some of his clips and some of his goals. He can shoot. He's got a good foot on him. He's good at long shots. He's got a good power to his shot where he's able to keep it down. Like where we've seen Partey have a shot out the box and it's gone into row Z, Odegaard will get that more on target. So I think giving him that left side to be able to have more space on his right foot will be better for him. And I think as well, those feeding passes, because he's really good at a feeding pass, where he's able to push it straight through the whole back line of the opposing team on his right foot, being able to feed that into Saka on the right wing or being able to feed that into a Lacazette up front will be better for him on the left side.
Okay, and then final question, Thomas. We signed Ryan from Brighton. We got rid of Socrates. We've gotten rid of Ozil and players like that. So where do you rate, how would you rate this transfer window out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd go for a 7 at the moment. Maybe bring that up to 7.5 if we can get in a backup left back. Although to be honest, it's not been great, but I mean in terms of getting players out, that's probably why it's so high.
We already have a backup left back. Cedric is a ball and Tierney is his backup after yesterday. WSL, where would you rate this transfer window?
First off, that statement is ludicrous, man. Tierney is 20 times better the player Cedric is, but I see what you're saying, man. What a performance. I think the best thing about that performance that I don't think you, me, or HD mentioned was Cedric was playing against his old team. Southampton was his old team, so he got one back on them. But yeah, the window as a whole, I'm giving it a bang average 5. There's still some things we need to do. Obviously, I want to get rid of Mustafi. That's the big one for me. Get rid of him. Bring in a second left back, whether it be Bertrand or Tyreek Mitchell. For me, I'm picking Bertrand over Mitchell. I haven't seen much of Tyreek Mitchell at all. I don't really know again where the hypes came from. I think ever since, as soon as we're linked to a player, he's already the best player in the world. It's no, Mitchell hasn't played enough for me to be able to be considered Tierney's backup. Bertrand, on the other hand, put in a great performance against us. He's a decent left back. We'll get him on a free deal, and he's English, which is good because more English players, the more foreign players we can have. But yeah, so if we can get a Bertrand or whoever else in and we can get rid of a Mustafi, I'll probably give it a 6, but it's staying at a 5 right now.
Okay, and sorry, Thomas, I didn't get your thoughts on yesterday's game. What did you make of it?
I mean, I was really happy with that performance. I mean, there was a couple of mistakes in the back line. Sometimes Louise gave it away too easily. Sometimes Rob Holding, gave it away a couple of times. But, I mean, Cedric out on the left, as you mentioned, that really did work. So, hopefully when we can have Tierney back in that squad and we can put Cedric in his natural position, everything, I think it's a pretty decent squad.
Awesome. So thank you guys for coming on. At the bottom there, you can see at the end, their Twitter accounts, FCWSL and AFRYT on the bottom there. And then if you check the description, the first video you'll see there's how Arsenal could line up with Martin Odegaard, and then the second video is 3 things you must know about new signing Martin Odegaard, and then after that you'll find WSL's link to his YouTube and Arsenal Fan Reviews link to his YouTube. And thank you guys for coming on and everyone for watching. We have a new signing. Let's see whether he plays against Manchester United. I'm so happy about that signing. Finally announced it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.